the whole banking system is outdated. We are getting more and more sophisticated with the advancement of technology. And the banking system is still in this old way of thinking. Um, I personally haven't even been to a bank in like 2 years. My bank isn't even in my state. So even if I wanted to do a run on my bank, I can't. I kind of can. I mean, I could have said, well, I better get this money out and buy a bunch of crypto. Or I could have paid off a bunch of my debts with the money I have in there if I was so worried about it. But for me, I thought, like, I know this is kind of weird thinking. And it's counterintuitive because I got to pay interest on the debt I have. But like, for me to have, I have enough assets to cover my debt. Some of my assets will take longer to liquidate, like my sports cards. But okay, not my car debt, but all my credit card debt can be paid off right now, unless things change and like my assets go to zero, which some could, some might not. So I have a diversified portfolio. And when people were worried about bank runs on over the weekend, I really wasn't, because I know that since I don't have $250,000, which 99% of Americans don't have $250,000 in their bank account. That's just for rich people. That's for rich people. Or you got businesses. Well, if you have a business that's generating over $250,000 a year, you're doing pretty good. That's what I think. It just depends on how many employees you have. So, if I said this yesterday, where then have a bunch of bank accounts. If you have like like $10 million, and you have employees, whatever, you have a big business, maybe you should have like 50,000 accounts, and have these are jobs for people to distribute. It's called payroll. So this account goes for this amount of people. I mean, this is how you have to play the system. Well, people are lazy. These companies are lazy, and they don't want to pay somebody to distribute this money and go through it. Or maybe they have a business. Yeah, you could spend all day if you're just the CEO and you're the one that's in control of everything. Well, like I said, this is a job. The more employees you have, you're going to have to delegate this work to somebody else. That's the way the system works. Like, if you have under $250,000 in the bank, then that's insured if the bank goes under. So you have to play in the parameters. Now, this is why I think that these companies, well, first off, with inflation, it should probably go up. The 250,000 should go up to like $500,000 or something like that. Or these companies pay insurance on, like, we have all these insurance companies, right? And that's kind of what FDIC is. You pay in to protect your money. So basically, why do I use a bank account? Well, for right now in this system, I got to use my bank account because that's where most companies go with is, they're cool with my bank. This is where crypto needs to get better with is Bitcoin is not going to be good for this. I guess Bitcoin could be good for this if more companies do adoption, or it's easier just to send Bitcoin. The problem is sending Bitcoin, and you could lose it forever if you don't send it to the proper place. That's the problem. So they need to get a little bit. It's kind of savage. So they need to do better, like it not just disappearing if you mess up. I don't know. I don't know how to make that technology, but somebody needs to make something where if crypto is sent somewhere and it just like disappears, maybe it goes into this one account and people can retrieve it. With miners, like they can mine and then they get a certain percentage. So if I send it to the wrong, instead of me losing my money forever, somebody can mine it and then I can pay them to get it back, or whatever, man. I don't know how to do that shit. So, or like some type of crypto that you need to be able to transfer funds cheaply than transferring Bitcoin, because it costs a lot of money. It needs to be more fluent. It needs to be more like I use a credit card. I can just use my crypto. So why do I use a bank? I'm essentially, the whole point of using a bank for a regular depositor is because I don't want to hold on to this cash. I don't feel safe holding on to this cash in my place. Maybe I'm worried about my place catching on fire or losing all my money getting burnt up or somebody robbing me. I don't want to keep all my money in one place. So that's why I go to a bank and I have them hold it. Well, there should be like different things, but okay, so if I don't want to pay fees for them holding my money, then they should be able to loan it out. A certain percentage. Not all of it. Not 90%. Maybe like 50%. But and there should be like an insurance I pay too, like a little bit. It's kind of like FDIC insurance. The depositor pays a little bit of insurance, much like health insurance or something like that. Where if I pay more, I'm covered with more amounts. You know what I'm saying? That's what else I was saying with the companies. The more money you have on there, the more you're going to want to insure it. So okay, my train of thought. Let me go back to. So if I want to deposit money, and I pay the fees, they can't loan any of it. They have to keep my money in there. I'm paying them to hold my money for me to keep it safe. That's why I'm going to a bank. So they shouldn't have access to loaning it out, because I should be able to go in there anytime I want and withdraw all my money, because I am paying these people to hold on to my money. That's the whole point. That's why people trust banks, because the whole point is it's a safe place for us to store our money. And that's how it should go. What else was I thinking about? But yeah, these companies that have over $250,000 in the bank that we just bailed out. No, we bailed them out. Don't get me wrong. We bailed them out in some type of way. Whether it was an account that taxpayers funded years ago, or we're going to pay with inflation, we're bailing these people out. And they're rich people. 99% of people in America don't have $250,000 in the bank. At least, I think I've heard something like 50% of Americans can't even come up with $400. So what does that say? We just bailed out rich people. Like, run your businesses better. This is the problem with woke. When people like Hollywood try to, like, business is focus on like your customers. And they want to sit here and do their woke agenda, their religion. They're putting first their religion over the customers and their business. Like if I was trying to sell a product, I want to sell it to as many people as I possibly can. So I kind of want to stay out of politics if I'm trying to sell stuff. In this climate, yeah, you probably want to pick a side. And then you could probably sell your product more to the side that, but that's just like an individual thing. When you're a bank, you want to be open to everybody, regardless of political affiliation. And stop pushing your woke crap. Abide by the laws in the country. That's what you should worry about. The laws in the country, not your personal opinions, not any of this crap. But abide by the laws in the country. If the laws say you have to hire 70% women, then that's what the laws say. You go with those laws. But they need to stop. And a lot of companies are doing this. And because there's people that aren't qualified to be in the position that they're in because they don't. It's like they're in over their heads. They're not qualified. They don't know everything. And then they put all these people that, it's like a person off the street at my work. They can't just come in there and I expect them to be a expert at the whole system we have. No, they have to learn it. And people get promoted and put in positions based off of how hard they work. You know what I'm saying? Like, not how hard you work, basically, in the system that we have, but it should be how hard you work, how much you know the system, not personal relationships. You know what I'm saying? So, these people are put in positions based off how they look or their sexual orientation over can they do the job right. And you're going to see more of these companies failing and then everything becoming more socialized. So what's happening is, now this is conspiracy theory, man. But what I think happened was, I got no proof of this. This is just me connecting dots. They want things more centralized. So they don't want us to trust small banks. They want everyone to put their money in big banks. Well, the people who own the big banks have partial ownership of the Federal Reserve. They want to monopolize. Whether it's through capitalism or force when it comes to communism, it's the same result. Centralize of power, dictatorship. Just different paths. So that's what I think. And I think that this run, maybe, I think that what I think is the Fed, they're a part of the problem, which they're not American Institute. They're a third party private company. They have raised interest rates too quick, and they have done this on purpose, causing some banks to fail, and they're fine with that, but they want us to socialize those banks, condensing power more and more, gathering more and more power for them. That's the end result, to have complete power over us, complete control. That's all money is power. To do what you want. These people have nothing else to do with themselves but gather resources and oppress people. Now, I understand that people need a certain type of order or certain type of control, because the average person, if you look at people who are my position, right, who are poor, and then they win the lottery, they lose all their money, or they become drug addicts. Why is this? Because most people, I believe, need some type of, if you look at, they can't think for themselves. And I'm not saying you have to think for yourselves all the time with everything, because a lot of things that we just don't know, so you have to kind of trust other people's opinions. But they can't think for themselves. They always got to follow the crowd. Always. Every single time. Well, some people, like, the whole purpose of their life is to have a family, which is fine. Work a job, which is fine. But they get handed all these resources, and then they become irresponsible with them. And then they don't have to, they lack a purpose to life, and that's why they turn to drugs or drinking or partying, because like they just blow through it. They don't think, yeah, I got all this money, but I can blow through it. You could like you could blow through money really quick. Let's just say I want $100 million. Well, I can go buy a yacht for $20 million, right? A big fucking yacht. Well, yeah, I own the yacht, but it costs a lot of money to maintain that yacht. Like a Ferrari, it costs a lot of money to maintain that. And that's not what people think. They just think, oh, I have it. Yeah, but it costs a ton of money to maintain it. And if you don't, yeah, I got $100 million. Well, as I said, I want $100 million. Well, I got 60 now because the government just took 40%. Or 50 million because the government took 50%. So I buy this yacht for 20 million. Now I only got 30 million left. Well, let's just say it costs like, I don't know, $100,000 a year to maintain that yacht. 100,000, yeah, 100,000, maybe $250,000. I don't know. It costs a lot of money because you got to pay people's salary. So it probably that type of a yacht, a $20 million yacht, would be pretty expensive, pretty big yacht. So you have to pay to maintain it. So you have to have a crew aboard. So you have to pay people's salaries. You got to pay maintenance to fix, to maintain. There's a lot that goes into boats. So you can just go right through that $30 million really easy. And if you have the money to buy a yacht, something like that, you're going to be spending money on other things too. So like, you can really burn through that money really quick, depending on how you spend your money. And this is what you see with like people who are professional athletes that live high on the hog, and then they don't have money that's still coming in. Like they got all this money right now, and then they end up going bankrupt because their career is over, but they don't have anything else going on. You know, you can only play that high of a level for so long and make all that money for so long, and then depends on what you do with it. Because like these people who put all their money in the bank and not it didn't diverse. You should, like right now, because things are so uncertain. I think that diversity is huge. And if I was to give people advice, which I'm not giving anybody advice, just what I've done is I invested in a bunch of different things. Like I got gold, I got silver. I'm not gonna say how much because I don't really have much of it, but I wasn't worried this weekend. If we went through bank runs, I'm like, okay, like I'm concerned I don't have enough cash because I don't really care about cash, but I got these other assets: guns, bullets, food. I'm pretty good. I could probably sustain myself for a good few months, me and my son, on the food we have in the house right now. So that's what people need to do, is they need to diversify their resources. You go all in one thing, you can just lose everything. So the people in these companies that kept all this money in there, now that you can say, oh, for payroll or whatever. Well, like I said, you should have a bunch of different accounts for that. You have to invest in different things, whether it's stocks, whether it's, I don't know, IRAs. I'm not sure about the bonds right now, but it should be because if one thing fails, well, you're not going to be done. You're not going to go bankrupt. You got other things going on, and I think that this is what that company should have probably done instead. And I know it was a safe. Was it Silicon Valley Bank? It was their investments were traditionally safe. Well, we don't live in the past no more. Like the Fed has just they sabotage things. I think it's on purpose to try to destroy some banks, to cause failures. Now the investors lost everything, but if you're running a bank and you know things are going to fail, and these people did because they were paying out massive bonuses to their people and they were selling their stock weeks ago, you could tell these big investors, like, hey, listen, get your money out because we're failing. You know what I mean? Oh, here's like $10 million. they'll give me $10 million to get all my money out. Like $42 billion left that bank in one day. Now, who's the people that did it? Who's the ones that started that bank run? And, you know, like these people are waiting in line to get their money out. Well, you can wait in line to get that paper, that fake money out, the monopoly money. Go ahead. If that's all you have, if like your savings, your life savings is all in cash or in a bank, that's why I don't trust a 401ks. That's why I don't trust retirement. You know, like how fast our currency is deflate, like is losing value, just sitting somewhere, not even keeping up with inflation. It's ridiculous. And the best thing, I think one of the best things you can do, I think this was probably the hands down best thing you can do. Invest in your body, man, because let's say things break down and we go back to the 1800s. Well, if you are completely overweight and you're really unhealthy, some community is not going to want to take you in. If I'm missing limbs, like somebody is like, oh, I'll take a settlement to lose a limb or something. Well, if you're losing a limb, you're going to be worthless to go on and farm or whatever they need you to do. Be security. Well, if you invest in yourself, you try to stay healthy, this community is going to want to take you in because you're going to have to rely on your body to get food in your belly, you know? And I think that we're at the point where trying to get rid of vices out of your life is important, because a vice is a negative when it comes to money. That you have to take that out. If your vice is bad enough, you have to keep maintaining that vice. And some vices are worse than others. Like if you're a completely alcoholic, you can't just quit overnight if it's bad enough, because it could kill you. Which is weird that alcohol is legal, but marijuana isn't federally legal yet. But I don't know. I don't know why that's not legal. I don't know. The Democrats haven't done nothing to legalize it federally, which is really, really, really weird. Really weird. That's why I don't trust these people. But yeah, like invest in your body and your health, and you might have to lift hay bales from sun up to sundown, but at least you got a roof over your head and you got food in your belly. This is why it's good to work out and get stronger, because somebody gonna if I'm a community and I need somebody to do heavy lifting, am I gonna pick some? You got three people to pick. You got a strong dude that he can lift things. You got some skinny guy who can't lift anything, or you got some obese guy who can't do anything for very long. And you know that obese guy's got bad vices because he overeats. Who am I gonna pick? I'm gonna pick the guy that's strongest, that can, if there's enemies that come in and try to loot us, he can defend us better with his strength, with his quickness, with his stamina. And that's what people have to focus on, is their health. If you got some bad vices, you need to start trying to get rid of those, and you should have been trying to do this way before. But I don't understand the whole point of people smoking cigarettes. All the stuff we know, like why. I used to smoke when I was younger for about 3 years of my life, and I quit that, and it took a long time for me to quit, but there is no point for anybody to start up smoking at this point. It is the dumbest thing. And I think that drinking is on that same path. I think, what does drinking do? It makes me, in the time, it could, loosen me up, make me feel pretty good. But if I drink too much, I feel like crap the next day. Plus, it costs money. Costs a lot of money. And I'm not saying that like drinking every now and then isn't bad. I'm like socially like a few times a year or something like that. Not getting obliterated, but um yeah, I think that people want to try to get rid of your vices. Try to get rid of them as much as you can. I've done this. Um one of my vices is the internet. I get a lot. I listen to it a lot. I get a lot of knowledge from the internet. I listen to people that are way smarter than me. I'm way smarter than I've ever been in my entire life. And it might not seem like that the way I talk, maybe because I'm kind of like a little bit slow and I don't articulate myself the greatest. I lose train of thought quick. But I'm the smartest I've ever been in my life. Um, because of the knowledge that's on the internet. But I think that's a good thing too. And if I had to, I can go without the internet. So, if one day, the internet was done, we didn't have the internet no more, well, I'll just continue to go on with my life without it. But people need to try to get rid of addictions as much as possible that cost them money and their health. So that would be my advice for people to try to do that.